I think did some good things at times. We had a couple 2-minute drills earlier in practice that was really nice to see our guys execute in that moment, something that, not to go back 2 years, but something that, ended up hurting us in some games early on in the year, midway through the year. You finished the year off against Iowa in the bowl game in a 2-minute situation with some success, but it was good to see some of the work that we did throughout the spring and the summertime, pay off with some of the 2-minute dirt, our mentality of going fast, playing fast, getting to the line of scrimmage. It was really nice to see.
How much does Devin's just experience help in those situations, and particularly what he excels in, that kind of
Yes.
word you use was surgical?
Yes, very much so. I mean, he's played in no huddle up tempo offenses. He's played in those situations before. And for us, actually, he's more comfortable probably operating that way. When we are going tempo, we are in the gun, we're kind of spitting the ball around and playing fast. That's what he's used to. He's foreign to more of the things that we're doing on a play-by-play basis within first and second down. So I thought it was really nice to see him. He made some great throws when we needed to in the 2-minute situation. His poise, confidence really carried over throughout the rest of the unit. That was great to see.
Liam, this time a year ago, everybody was talking about Josh Caddis's physicality and how that kind of just struck them. This is your first experience with that because he wasn't there in the spring. What are your kind of things?
Man, he's a dog. He's just a. My dad always says it when he sees him. He's like, man, he just looks like nothing. He just doesn't, and Vince always laughs, but it's, he doesn't look like this, guy that's going to walk up and beat your tail every snap, and he just does it. He just plays with such great leverage. He plays with such a good energy and tenacity that he doesn't like to lose. He doesn't like to lose a snap. He doesn't like to lose a rep, and he's fun to coach. He's very fun to coach.
Another tight end, Isaiah Cummings. He had a lot of success first go around here. We saw him split out at wide receiver a lot. We also saw Demi Sumo-Karmbe. He was playing a wide receiver. What are the versatility of those guys do for your offense?
Yeah, similar, where you look at, from a scholarship receiver number, right? Not on the higher end. Well, how do we combat some of that by putting big skill players in space? Ultimately, how do you try to get some matchup situations and some matchups that are favorable for us with some big, good, smart skill players to put them in space? Really, that's what we're trying to do with some of those guys that are playing a little bit out of their position.
When it comes to Demi, him and Devin played together before when you're scheming stuff up, and is there a little bit of connection there from them playing before, and how does that help you when you're picking where to put those?
It is. We had like a little bubble screen, RPO on yesterday, and the read was probably to hand the ball off, but he had Demi on the bubble, and I knew he was trying to get the ball in his guy's hands, and it was about a 5 or 6 yard gain, but I'm glad that they do have a rapport, that they do have chemistry already, they do have a friendship. It helps each other when you're a new kid coming into a program in this world we're living in. When you come in with a teammate, two great kids that just want to help and play good football, it's nice when you have somebody to kind of lean on and be with throughout that process.
Do you think in college football it's a little more big picture? Do you think you might see some of that, some guys sticking together?
Probably so. When you have relationships like that, you see it in high school, right? You see when kids are coming out of high school and they go to try to be teammates in college, you see some of that stuff. I do think that in the big picture, you can start to see some of that double up deal.
Liam, we saw Anthony Brown make a lot of plays on Saturday. What's kind of stood out to you about him, and how beneficial was it for him to be here in the spring and kind of already have a leg up, kind of like Dane did last year?
Huge. When you come in as a freshman that's really supposed to be going to prom, that's awesome. It is, because he's able to come in, and really in the spring, he'll tell you, he had some drop issues. When you go from catching the ball at Springfield High School to catching the ball from Devin Leary in a span of a couple months, that's different now. The ball gets on you faster, and it's a little bit of a different deal, but I thought he's handled this go-around extremely well in terms of being somebody we can count on to go play, somebody that we can be able to push the ball down the field to, and he's a diligent worker, smart kid, bright future ahead of him.
Dane made a nice catch there on the sideline. He entertained the fans for sure. As he did last year, how exciting is it to see him kind of take this jump?
It is. I mean, he's in better shape right now. He put on about 13, 15 pounds from the winter to the spring. I mean, it was a fast turnaround with how fast he put weight on. So I think in the spring he was just learning how to carry some of that weight, didn't feel as fast. He's really looking good right now with his, with him being able to run, jump. He's got great ball skills when the ball's in the air. Now how do you be as dominant as you can, snap in and snap out, but really excited about getting Dane going and seeing what he can do in live situations.
When we talk about Devin's strengths, like throwing into tight windows, throwing guys in, does it become even more important that those young receivers are where they're supposed to be on each play?
It's huge. It's huge. And not to mention, it happened yesterday, is all eligibles are alive when Devin's throwing the ball, right? The concept might mean, all right, we're trying to throw a curl flat, right? But if that curl flat doesn't look good to him, he'll exhaust all eligibles. So all 4 or 5 receivers, tight ends, running backs, if you're within the route concept, you got to get ready for the ball because he will throw it to anybody at any time. He has a great feel for the vision of the play, the concept and understanding, but he also knows how to just play ball. And so that is extremely important, is the details, the fundamentals and techniques of the pass game so that we are in the right spots at the right time for us to be able to be efficient there.
You mentioned the scholarship crunch kind of at receiver right now. So what do those young guys have to do to sort of bring them along? Like, what's that process look like to be able to run with the ones and twos?
It's alignment, it's assignment, it's just knowing your job. So often you get young guys and they try to go play and they're thinking about making a play. Well, how about let's just go get lined up? Let's go get lined up. Let's understand what the motion is, the shift, the run play. Let's just understand the basics. And so that if they are thrust into that situation, well, I'm probably not going to have the entire menu of offense in if some of those young receivers are in. Maybe be a little bit more stationary with some formations and things like that so that we aren't putting them in a position to fail. But they do need to come along.
Liam, I know it's early, but how do you feel about the backup quarterback?
Yeah, I think right now we're giving them all a ton of reps. Like all 3 of those guys right now behind Devin are getting opportunities with the second offense. Every single one of those guys has. And they will continue to do so really until we truly decide on who that's going to be. I really like what's nice not having a true freshman quarterback in is the operation's a little smoother from a quarterback standpoint. Now, hey, we still got to be able to throw and catch. We still got to be able to hand the ball off, make the right checks. But they're a little bit probably ahead of some of the other younger guys that are on the field because they've been in the system now for a couple months at least. So feel good about where we're at, but definitely need to continue to make strides. We still got to get them in live situations to see how they respond and handle those. But I've been pleased so far.
What did you like about Jefferson's potential way back in the day at Maine, and now that he's kind of working back into it?
What a cool story. What a cool story for him to be in the position that he's in, adversity, at multiple stops, and just has continued. He is such a good kid. All he wants to do is help our team. All he wants to do is do something right to help this team win games. And I remember sitting in his house, in the Bronx, and it was just cool to go back, and now you're hanging out with him, and we were in Co-op City, wherever it was, with his dad. His dad was a musician, I believe, or artist, and it's just cool when life comes full circle like that, and the fact that he's still playing is crazy. But I'm really glad he is, because coming off of this injury, and a lot of guys going into their last year of eligibility, not necessarily being the starting guy on the depth chart, when if you just look on paper, all he's done is put his head down and work, and just come to work every day, get right in the training room, and really hope that he can help us out this fall.